we're going to find and bring justice to not just this family, but families across this city who have been struck by violence.
A community comes together to remember a mother gone way too soon.
Investigators say there's a second ransom note in the case of Nancy Guthrie. I'm Caroline Elliott in New York, and I'll have the latest on that investigation coming up.
And taking a live look outside right now, a warm-up is here for the weekend. What you need to know.
Live from Chicago, this is Fox 32 News at 9.
Everybody's working for the weekend. Thanks for joining us right here. I'm Brett Pagansky.
And I'm Leslie Moreno. Let's take a live look outside. Warm days ahead. Meteorologist Mark Strell joining us with a first check of your forecast. We're really excited about those warm temps.
Yeah, we've got to get through the weekend first before we get to those early next week. But here is how the outlook goes. This is February 14th through the 20th, and you can see there is red splashed all over the map here, which indicates those temperatures are above normal. And that's going to be the trend. In fact, the next 10 days, look at this, Monday and Tuesday, temperatures in the low and mid 40s, and then temperatures above that for the rest of the 10-day forecast. But between now and then, we've got some cold air to go through. Overnight tonight, temperatures down into the single digits. Tomorrow, daytime highs about 7 or 8 degrees below average. And finally, by the time Sunday rolls around, those temperatures getting up in the neighborhood of average. But after that, the big payoff comes. I'll tell you how long this pattern sticks around coming up in a minute.
We will all be waiting, Mark. We'll see you in just a little bit. New tonight, a jury finds a Naperville woman guilty of murdering her boyfriend. Prosecutors say in November of 2020, 40-year-old Rosa Lagrone and her boyfriend Darnell Manns argued about him with another woman. She then shot him. Medics rushed Manns to the hospital. He died there 3 days later. So Lagrone is due back in court April 1st. All right, this is a story that we've been covering extensively all day now. Somebody shot and killed a young mother in the middle of the day this week, and her baby was in the back seat.
And tonight, leaders remembering her and police are still searching for the suspects. Casey Cronus has more on their pleas to stop the violence.
Her baby girl miraculously survived despite dozens of shots being fired. Now faith leaders and city officials are pleading with the public to speak up if you know who did this. A brazen act of violence has left a young child without her mother, a 26-year-old woman identified as Gabrielle Ayers.
Talk about it like that mother is your sister or your mother. Think about that baby who's going to grow up with no mother. That ought to prick your conscience to do something.
Father Michael Flager of St. Sabina Church is now matching Cook County Crime Stoppers' reward of $10,000 for information that will bring those responsible to justice. Ayers was shot multiple times near 79th and May this week before crashing into another car. The man who was with her was injured in the shooting, but her 14-month-old daughter was unharmed. At the very same intersection, community members gathered for a vigil alongside a Chicago Police Department roll call. Mayor Brandon Johnson was also there to address Auburn Gresham neighbors.
It's tragedies like this that remind us of how much more work that we have to do. This is not a season to gloat, but it's also not a season to be in despair. We're going to find and bring justice to not just this family, but families across this city who have been struck by violence. We're going to hold those individuals responsible, but that doesn't just mean locking them up. It means making sure that we don't create other individuals that believe the only way in which they can survive in this city is through violence and crime.
Local and state leaders demanding an end to the violence and asking every Chicagoan to do their part.
This is real life, and enough is enough. And I'm going to tell people like it is. I'm calling these monsters what they are. They are monsters, because what else are they? Are they good community members? Absolutely not. And we're going to find you, and we're going to make sure that we hold you accountable.
If you have any information about this case, you are asked to report it right away, and you can do so anonymously. The Cook County Crime Stoppers tip line is on your screen. Reporting downtown, Casey Cronus, Fox Chicago.
Metro Police are investigating how a train struck and killed a man. It happened near Mount Prospect just around 2:30 p.m. The medical examiner identified the victim as 55-year-old Richard Greta. Crews shut down the roads nearby but opened them back up once the train was moving.
So we told you earlier tonight about how authorities are now looking into a potential new message connected to Nancy Guthrie, the mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie. So somebody sent this note to a news outlet in Tucson. Caroline Elliott shows you how the FBI and the Pima County Sheriff's Department is looking to confirm if this note is real.
The FBI is searching Nancy Guthrie's home Friday night after investigators receive a second ransom note.
So you have to imagine that this new letter may have something to do with why authorities have cleared out the area around the house and are redeploying to do a search.
The note is the first communication from the alleged kidnapper in several days, and it was sent directly to media outlets instead of the Guthrie family.
Whoever is out there holding our mother, we want to hear from you.
The family is begging for direct contact with their mother's captor.
But first, we have to know that you have our mom.
Saturday will be 1 week since the 84-year-old disappeared from her home, and the family still has not seen any evidence that their mom is still alive.
We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive and that you have her.
And the first note obtained by TMZ, the alleged captor demanded millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin in ransom, claiming Nancy Guthrie was alive but scared.
This is not a letter that was thrown together in a couple of minutes. It is a very specific, well-organized, layered letter that really lays things out. This is not AI.
The first note also set two deadlines for the family, one that already passed and another on Monday night that's been described as much more consequential. In New York, Caroline Elliott, Fox News.
It's Black History Month, and the city of Aurora is honoring a baseball legend. Negro Leagues baseball player Dennis Biddle met fans at the Aurora Public Library Gallery tonight. Born back in 1935 and pursued his dream of playing baseball at the age of 17, Congress has honored Biddle as the youngest player to ever play in the Negro Leagues. Here are some of his stories from when he played.
This man was much older than me, but I was winning the game. But every inning, when we crisscrossed going back to the dugout, he would tell me, "Kid, you're telegraphing your pitch." And I didn't know what he meant about telegraphing my pitch. So in the dugout, my coach, Ted W. Radcliffe, I said, "What is this guy talking about?" And he called me in my car and said, "Listen, you're being prepared for the major league." He never had a chance.
The city also made a proclamation honoring his immense contributions to the game.
I love those stories about, hey, you're giving away your pitches right there. Some people would say you're tipping your pitches, which you never want to do in baseball. Well, this is a big weekend here in Chicago. It's the 118th edition of the Chicago Auto Show that is rolling into McCormick Center.
Featuring all the classics and more, we take a look at the new features for gearheads this year.
put in a letter to Congress that President Trump directed her to do so. And then now President Trump yesterday said that it was at your insistence that she went down there. So what is the case here?
Yeah, thanks for asking that. It's that's interesting because DNI, Gabbard, and I are inseparable. We are constantly together, as are the people behind us. We constantly talk, we collaborate as a cabinet. We're all extremely close, know what each other, what we're doing at all times pretty much to keep not only our country safe, but our world safe. And she was down there with Deputy Director Andrew Bailey of the FBI. And I'm not going to talk about any other details of that matter right now because Georgia's a very important issue to us. She was there. We're inseparable. That's all I'll say.
Mike, let me see. Can you say, was there foreign involvement in the capture of this suspect? What kind of assistance did you get from other countries?
I'm going to let Director Patel take that. I think we're not going to be able to say a lot on that matter as well. But and to you personally, I'm so sorry you and your NBC family are going through this right now.
We appreciate it.
As the general said, in order to execute an apprehension, a capture, and a foreign transfer of custody, no one agency alone can do it. We did it throughout the interagency here, and of course we're working with partners overseas. And we're not going to get into the details of those conversations and those ongoing matters because as the U.S. Attorney indicated to you, we're not done. And so what we want to do is maintain not just the integrity of this investigation, but the possibility and the promise of bringing more individuals to justice for this heinous act of terror.
Do we have time for a couple more?
Yeah,
we have something else going on at 10 o'clock down there.
Yeah, so I'm Benghazi. What did the communication look like between the Trump administration and the victims' families throughout this process, if any? I know someone as far as Sue Clinton during, in the early days of this, but what's the communication look like with them?
I think what I can say now is that do you want to take that, Director? We've had to keep everything very quiet for obvious reasons up until this point. And then U.S. Attorney Pirro, as she said, contacted all the families, and I think they were absolutely thrilled. I think they had probably lost faith that something would happen. But again, we never forget. Donald Trump never forgets. Yeah, and we have a 10 o'clock in our office that's a very positive if anyone would like to join us on that. So thank you. Go ahead.
That the DNI, the Tulsi Gabbard's presence in Atlanta during a law enforcement search, are you concerned at all that that could taint whatever the FBI is doing and whatever findings come from that investigation?
Absolutely not. And Andrew Bailey was taking the lead down there. He's Director Patel's deputy director of the FBI. Thank you all. Thanks. Sorry about that, man. Oh, it's okay.
We always got you covered here on Live Now from Fox. We'll be back in just 2 minutes. back, everyone, here to Live Now from Fox. Let's take you out to this rally in Minnesota where many pleading with ICE to get out of the state.
Systems fail us. And yet, our businesses are short-staffed, short-changed, and overextended. We're providing mutual aid at the expense of our own stability, our own families, our own paychecks, and our own futures. My co-founder and I stopped by a restaurant on our street and ended up filling to-go orders for them because more than 50% of his staff is gone, afraid to come to work for fear of being taken by ICE, even as U.S. citizens, even with work permits, even with the right paperwork. My friend Jason from Hikari Hand Rolls lost thousands when fresh bluefin tuna was delivered and sat outside for 2 days while his building remained closed as ICE invaded Nicollet. The cost of supplies continues to rise while he's lost 80% of revenue in the last month. Christian from El Sazon reminded me that this violence isn't new. It's been ongoing. ICE has been terrorizing our communities long before this moment, and El Sazon has had 2 restaurants remaining closed for up to 2 months because the staff cannot safely come to work. At the Coven, we've lost thousands in revenue because ICE continues to terrorize Nicollet, even as our community mourns Alex Preddy on the corner. Business owners are stepping up, providing mutual aid and protecting one another and trying to stay open because our community really does need us. But let me be clear, many of these businesses don't have months. They have weeks. If they close, if these buildings sit empty, if this cultural corridor goes dark, it's not just bad for business. It's a devastating blow to the future of Minnesota. It means more people without work. It means more people without food and without community. It's disinvestment with lasting consequences. The reality is that these vibrant cultural corridors help the biggest businesses in Minnesota recruit diverse talent to this state. They bring business and people and dollars to their organizations, their billion-dollar organizations. We love to celebrate these cultural communities and corridors, but they do not survive without real investment. So I'm demanding, we are all demanding, Minnesota. We're asking decision makers at every level to follow our lead, to choose community, to choose stability, to choose to show up like we've been showing up for all of you. And to everyone listening, keep showing up, shop local, check in and spread the word, donate to your local neighborhood funds. Thank you.
My name is Lawrence Edison. I'm a manager of custom design. I'm also part of the leadership team of the Minority Small Business Network. Standing by my side is my brother, owner of Custom Design. We're located in Brooklyn Center. First and foremost, I want to thank God for blessing us with the opportunity to be in business for 5 years now. Recently, as we've all seen, ICE has invaded Minnesota. Custom Design is built from the ground up. It is born out of community and it exists to serve the community. We are centered around the community. That's why this moment matters. Because I was taken aback by ICE intimidating people and violating Fourth Amendment rights. ICE has impacted business due to the fact that our customers are afraid to leave their homes. They're afraid to come to our place of business, to support us, to spend money, and this has been such an impact that is harmful for all of us in the community. Minnesota does not deserve this, and our community does not deserve this. Like so many business owners, we had to grind and work diligently to get where we are today. We started without starting resources, without a safety net, and sacrifice and struggle to get where we are today. Because of ICE, the activity we're seeing in our communities in Minnesota, people are afraid, once again, to come to our place of business. That is why we are excited to launch a week of support and action for small business owners across the state of Minnesota. This week is about showing solidarity and support for small businesses, lifting up one another in one voice and standing together as the small businesses that help drive Minnesota's economy. We deserve a week that is dedicated to our voices, to our safety, and real action for small businesses, owners in every community. So as I stand here, I just ask that ICE respect our rights. And if you can't, vacate Minnesota. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Leanne Rasajak, CEO of Women Venture. I want to thank again Jill, our client, and the team at Urban Growler for hosting us and being a place of community. We're a community development financial institution, and CDFIs represent small business and housing, and we're often the bridge between government, foundations, corporations, to supporting small businesses and housing organizations. Every American community depends on strong Main Street small businesses that employ neighbors, invest locally, and keep our local economies moving. And in Minnesota, we are seeing growing instability on our main streets, both in urban and rural communities. And it is not the result of market failure or poor business management. This instability is being driven by fear and enforcement, fear that keeps customers home, fear that keeps workers from showing up, and enforcement actions that disrupt entire business districts overnight. When fear enters the economy, even healthy businesses become fragile. We had clients coming into 2026 that were anticipating double-digit sales revenue growth with teams of 60 or more people. These are small businesses that contribute to our community. And today, they're keeping their employees at home, sheltering in place, helping to ensure that they're still receiving some form of pay to be fed and to house their families, while this business is losing $3,000 to $5,000 a day. Fear is not abstract. It shows up in very real ways. Empty storefronts and suddenly quiet business corridors, missed shifts, missed payroll, installed cash flow. Businesses that were able to be stable weeks ago are now seeking emergency capital just to survive. And when customers are afraid to leave their homes and workers are afraid to come to work, Main Street cannot function. This is why we are seeing increased demand for short-term lending, technical assistance, and crisis stabilization. CDFIs are economic first responders. We've lived through this before during COVID in 2020 following the murder of George Floyd, and we're living through it again, and this time it's worse. Because there's no federal or government safety net to help us see us through. And as a reminder, we didn't ask for this. We were just emerging and coming out and thriving as a community. Not because these businesses failed, but because conditions changed rapidly on them. And fear moves faster than capital. And when it does, even strong businesses can be pushed to the brink. When fear, enforcement, or policy shifts, it destabilizes local economies. We're here to keep capital moving into Main Street. We believe that strong communities require strong Main Streets that require reliable, local, and informed capital that understands what businesses are facing on the ground. Women Venture is choosing to speak publicly about this in this moment because silence allows fear to fill the void. So let me say that again. Silence allows fear to fill the void. Right. We have both the responsibility and credibility to name what is happening and to explain its economic consequences clearly. Speaking publicly is part of stabilizing the system, and it
bring justice to not just this family, but families across the city who have been struck by violence.
A community comes together to remember a mother gone too soon.
Investigators say there's a second ransom note in the case of Nancy Guthrie. I'm Caroline Elliott in New York, and I'll have the latest on that investigation coming up.
And taking a live look outside right now, a warm-up is coming ahead. But first, we have to get through these next couple of days.
Live from Chicago, this is Fox 32 News at 9.
It's all about working for the weekend. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Brett Bagansky.
And I'm Leslie Marino. Happy Friday. The weekend is here. Let's take a live look outside. Meteorologist Mark Strell joining us with a first check of your forecast. Hey, Mark.
Hey, today, first time that we've broken above the freezing point since the middle part of January. It's been about 3 weeks. And we're going to stay above the freezing point for most of next week, but not before it starts to chill out. Look at this temperature. This temperature trend from the 14th through the 20th shows temperatures to be well above average. But yeah, we still have to get through temperatures down in the single digits tonight and into the low 20s tomorrow, which is about 7-8 degrees below average, before we get to about average on Sunday. And then we're kind of off to the races Monday and Tuesday. And even beyond that, looking all the way out 7 to 10 days, we're talking about above normal temperatures, mild conditions as we go through February, with temperatures out at day 9 and day 10. All the way back into the 50s. We'll take a look and see how long this trend lasts, coming up in a few minutes.
We're certainly looking forward to that. Well, new tonight, a jury finds a Naperville woman guilty of murdering her boyfriend. Prosecutors say in November of 2020, 40-year-old Rosa Legrone and her boyfriend Darnell Mans argued about him with another woman. She then shot him. Medics rushed Mans to the hospital, and he died there 3 days later. So Legrone is due back in court April 1st. Well, somebody shot and killed a young mother in the middle of the day this week, and her baby was in the back seat when this happened.
And tonight, leaders are remembering her, and police are still searching for the suspects. Casey Cronis has more on their pleas to stop violence.
Her baby girl miraculously survived despite dozens of shots being fired. Now faith leaders and city officials are pleading with the public to speak up if you know who did this. A brazen act of violence has left a young child without her mother, a 26-year-old woman identified as Gabrielle Ayers.
Talk about it like that mother is your sister or your mother. Think about that baby who's going to grow up with no mother. That ought to prick your conscience to do something.
Father Michael Flager of St. Sabina Church is now matching Cook County Crime Stoppers' reward of $10,000 for information that will bring those responsible to justice. Ayers was shot multiple times near 79th and May this week before crashing into another car. The man who was with her was injured in the shooting, but her 14-month-old